her as much as they say they do, they'd know that too. After her arrest was all over, one officer even says,
"She's a hoot." Oh, yeah.
She's a hoot. In other words, she's good TV. And she was. She was weird and wacky, and she had no top of it.
You know, just because I'm having a bad month or a bad year or a bad week doesn't mean that they can take my face and my name and call me a frequent flyer, like they said. You know, I might be a washed out junkie, but I got a good soul and a good personality, and, you know.
The Spokane Sheriff's Office says they didn't target Jessica because she would make good TV. They went after her multiple times because she had a warrant. They say it's not uncommon. Quote, that was true before Live PD was here, and it's still true today. In March of last year, the City Council in Spokane decided that they had had enough. That citizens were being forced onto the show unwillingly, but also, and a little more practically, it just didn't make the city look that good on national television. They voted 5-1 to effectively kick IPD and cops out of the city limits. Other cities that have rethought their participation in IPD: Bridgeport, Connecticut, Streetsboro, Ohio, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. The pushback doesn't seem to be slowing IPD down. In fact, last fall, A&E ordered more episodes of the show. But not like 13 or 26 episodes like it normally would. They ordered 454 hours of it.
Dan Tversky. This podcast is called Running from Cops. It's made by Pineapple Street Media. The producers of Live PD did not respond to Dan and his team when they reached out, and we also reached out. We tried to do some fact-checking with them. They did not answer our fact-check questions, but did issue a statement asserting the rights to broadcast what they do live. Quote, the First Amendment protects the right of the media to record people involved in public places in matters of public interest, which certainly includes the actions of law enforcement. Coming up on TV, but there's no way you could ever know it, because you don't know what TV is. In a minute, Chicago Public Radio, whatever the program continues.
Supporting Richmond Meadowwood, offering a variety of programs, including new expansion of roads. These spacious residences are park and part out. Learn more at thegrove.meadowwood.net and the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. There's something for everyone at Clackamas College, from art classes and workshops for adults, day camps for kids, and pre-college programming for teens, in drawing, painting, sculpture, photography, mixed media, and more. Registrations are open, and summer classes begin May 29. Scholarships available. Details at papa.org/community-education. That's papa.org/community-education.
67 degrees and sunshine at 11:38. You are listening to This American Life on WHYY.
WHYY has great kids programming on TV, but we think it's time for a kids show on the radio. Check out the Kids Listening Hour, a new pilot featuring science, history, and more for your little listening. Tomorrow night at 8 on WHYY. This American Life, America. Today's program, I'm on TV. Stories of people who are used to being on the watching side of television, the normal side of television, who suddenly, without choosing, are placed on the other side of the screen. If it is, they're inside the screen. What's up with you? We've arrived at Act 2 of our program, Act 2, born to play the part. I know somebody who, whenever we would watch a film or TV show, if there was a dog in the scene, they always did the same thing. They would turn to me and say, dog doesn't know it's in a movie. Or, dog doesn't know that's Mel Gibson. Dog doesn't know that's Neil Patrick Harris. Same thing if a baby showed up. Baby doesn't know that's Meryl Streep. Baby doesn't know it's in a film. One of our producers, Bim Adewunmi, is also a big noticer of babies on television, including one in particular, which she's become slightly obsessed with. Here's Bim.
Okay, so it's an uncharacteristically peaceful scene in the 6th season of The Walking Dead. No zombies, no gore. There's a man, the hero of the show, Rick Grimes, and his teenage son, Carl. The whole scene has a cloud of awkward family tension, but nothing more perilous than that.
Get your stuff. Gabriel can take care of Judith while we're gone.
No, I'm not coming.
But wait, there's a third character in the scene. She's wearing a lilac smock dress and she's got a pacifier in her mouth. She's a baby and she's adorable. Her name is Judith. So anyway, Rick is carrying Judith towards Carl in the street, and as they approach, the baby spots the teen and she waits. It's obviously unscripted, because how could you script a toddler? And you can see the actor playing her dad, Andrew Lincoln, look down and smile in surprise. All through the scene, Judy goes through baby's greatest hits. She fidgets, she sucks on her pacifier, she makes sounds that the subtitles caption as babbling. And with one arm wrapped around Rick's bicep, she swivels her head back and forth, just observing her environment. And then she does the one thing you're not supposed to do. She spots the camera, and then proceeds very happily to break the fourth wall. She stares, and I mean stares, down the barrel of the camera. Her focus laser sharp. Above her head, acting with a capital A is happening. This is the highest rated cable show in America. But to this baby, who knows nothing about craft or dramaturgy or anything else of the televisual art, there's only a great big camera. And as far as she understands life, it's there to be looked at. A few things go through my mind whenever I watch this scene. But this must have been the best take of the day. I don't know why, but that tickles me. The idea of a Hollywood set being at the mercy of the baby's whims is just joyous to me. Judith has been around on the show since the third season. The first baby, born to our hero since the dead began to roam the earth. The parade of babies we played in season 6 of the podcast. But was Judith the first in season 6? Take season 6, episode 9, No Way Out. Judith, their names are Garcia and Chloe Garcia Frizzy. I cannot stress this enough. The Garcia Frizzy twins might be the cutest babies in the whole world to see, or in real life. Top 3, definitely. They arrived in their butterball crown, all round and squishy, no hard edges to them, and now they are 5 years old. It's funny to think of babies as famous, as being recognized by fans in the street. Being a baby, you're often just you have someone who prepares your food and drives you around. It's not so different from being famous. There's no way a baby with a logo will get any special attention. Babies just get that. I talked to the Garcia company to ask if the girls knew they were famous.
It's actually really, really funny because until my oldest daughter told them that they were famous, they legitimately did not. Like, they would go to pick up the phone and let each other on. You guys should be famous, right? But famous.
attention, and the people of the house would dress like characters from The Walking Dead.
I think they're starting to become aware of, like, that other people do know who they are, that aren't necessarily people we know, if that makes sense. Like, strangers know who they are. I don't think they've really necessarily connected it to fame yet. But they will tell people their cutest crimes. Like, they definitely know that they play pretend on TV, but they don't know it's acting. They just think it's pretend.
Fame changes us, takes us further away from what we once were, which is to say innocent and pure. Famous babies don't know they're famous, so they're immune to its dangers. When you think about it, babies are the only beings who should be famous.
Is one of the producers of our show.
David Faze, you got the cutest little David Faze.
Back 3. With an end. We now turn to 2 girls. One of them has this big moment in her life on national television and no choice about it. The other sees that moment on television and it sticks with her for years. The girl in the story is Selena Masitzis, one of the producers of our show. Piece of background you need to know to understand this story. She was really into musical theater as a kid, listened to musicals, fantasized about being in them, which is why this story stayed with her. Here she is.
I know when it started. It was in Greece, the country, not the musical. I spent part of my childhood there. I was 6 or 7 years old when I found a 2-disc CD set at the bottom of some sales bin, a Best of Broadway compilation from various European tours of Broadway shows, all in different languages. I remember a German I Am What I Am from La Cage aux Folles. I listened over and over, arms outstretched, pretending I was on stage, spotlit. It only escalated from there. Back in America, in my bedroom in Virginia, I scotch-taped up pictures of Ethel Merman, Bernadette Peters, Bebe Neuwirth. On weekends, I checked casting calls in the Washington Post. My mom's rule was, if an audition was less than 5 miles away, I could try out. I recorded the Tonys on VHS each year, watched it over and over, same for Sound of Music and Fiddler on the Roof. But the tape I watched the most, the one that spoke to me more than any other, was this 1997 TV special. Barbara Walters hosted, and it was called Broadway's New Annie, Search for a Star. And if the title doesn't give it away, here's the premise. The musical Annie was coming back to Broadway, and the show's director needed to find a star. And this was how he decided to do it, on TV.
Little girls, 2,000 little girls, all sharing the same dream.
I was 8, the same age as those girls. I could have auditioned if I'd known about it. It was a nationwide contest sponsored by the department store Macy's, and there was a Macy's less than 5 miles from my house. To watch, I dressed up like an orphan, and the closest thing I came up with was wearing my older brother's underwear. I'd stand in front of the TV, transfixed, so close my mom would yell at me that I was going to damage my eyes. And the person I was watching for was this one girl named Harley, who reminded me of me, because she was special, perfect for the role in every way, which I figured I'd be, although Harley had the advantage of also looking the part. Long red wavy hair, chubby cheeks, the sort of aw shucks grin you want to see on Annie's face. Except...
But then it was Harley's turn to sing.
No, I don't want you to do that. You're going to get tomorrow.
Just sometimes I get kind of scared, and it was really scary, so it kind of like came out.
She's scared, which is kind of understandable. The guy she's auditioning for is Martin Charnin. He wrote Annie back in 1976. He was the show's original director. That's him you hear singing along with her. Martin takes Harley by the hand and leads her away from all the other girls. He cups her chin in his palm and places her on the floor by his feet. Together, they watch more Annie Hopefuls audition.
Then I sat with the director, and then he let me watch.
49 was singing with you, right?
Something about the little girl's face makes Martin want to see her again. She makes the finals.
I'm just gonna think about it. Just smile and do your best.
I loved this story because Harley just needed to be noticed by the right person, just like I needed.
August 7th, at a nondescript rehearsal hall in Midtown Manhattan, the finalists have gathered, selected from 2,000 of the last auditions. Holly Ott, one of Martin's favorites, is back from Jersey. She has another chance to sing, but again is struck with stage fright.
It doesn't go well. And still, later that day, she gets a third chance.
Martin, who thinks she might be right for the role of an orphan, still believes he could overcome her nerves in rehearsal.
Okay, so now she's out of the running for Annie, but she might become an orphan on Broadway, the kind of thing I'd have died for. As far as I was concerned, Harley had made it. But then comes the moment I haven't been able to understand for more than 20 years. As a kid, I found it upsetting. As an adult, baffling. Martin walks into the hall to grab Harley.
Is Harley here?
But when he goes to find her parents...
Brian, where did Harley's parents go?
I had them right in that chair, right here, all three.
he finds they've left.
On screen, you see a confused Martin looking around anxiously. He's still not done with her, still picturing her on his task list, but she's gone. For a moment, he stands there, probably thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Why the hell would you ever walk out on that? Kylie threw away her shot, and ever since, I've wondered why. So I tracked her down. She was really surprised to hear from me. It was so long ago, she said, but she was also totally game to talk. Kylie and I actually have a lot in common. We're both from the East Coast. We're both 30 years old, born just 10 days apart. She remembers everything about the audition.
And then I remember these, like, boards we had to walk under. It was like you had to be under a certain height to even go into the audition because you had to walk under these kids-only things.
They decided that orphans were a certain height?
I guess so. I mean, I was certainly getting under that, so I probably still get under it today.
By the way, Harley has dwarfism. That's what she meant by that joke. She's 4'6". I pretty quickly got to the point. Why did you... The answer was not what I expected at all. I thought Harley was bombing because of what Barbara Walters said, because she had stage fright. But it wasn't nerves stopping her.
That's not stage fright. That's frustration that I can't sing. I'm not scared, I'm pissed. Like, I'm mad at myself in that moment. I have, like, no pitch. And the poor man was trying so hard to get me to sing the right note, and I just couldn't do it. You start to get hot, your hands start to get clammy, your heart starts to race. All of these people are now looking at me, and I don't know what to do.
Which of course casts her sudden disappearance in an entirely different light.
It was not a feeling of fear of being on stage or fear of auditioning. It was just an overwhelming feeling of this not being right for me. I think it was just, this isn't what I want to be doing right now. It stopped being fun. And I just looked at both of my parents and I said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to go. And there was absolutely no questioning of me on that at all. They said, okay, let's go.
Were you embarrassed leaving? Did you say goodbye to people? Like, the way it's framed in the show is this very abrupt thing, but how did it feel in the moment? What did it look like?
The moment my parents said we could leave, I was comfortable. I was like, all right, guys, let's get out of here. Let's go listening.
Why she didn't stick around that day? It wasn't an act of fear. It was an act of courage.
I feel like I've always been pretty in tune with myself, and I know when something is not right.
Yeah.
And I've done this with other things in my life, where I've gotten pretty far with something, and then I'm like, I think we're done.
So there's this, like, other little person inside of you.
Is that a shark?
It wasn't a short joke, but when I said it, I was worried that you might think it is. But it wasn't. So there was, I'm going to start over. So there was a voice in your head speaking to you in a language that you understand but couldn't quite speak yet.
100%. Yes.
But what you were able to interpret in the moment was,
this isn't right for me.
And I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I need to get out.
I need to leave.
So at 7, Harley understood enough to know she wasn't good enough. She walked away. She felt fine. Me, it took me much longer to figure it out. I auditioned for the 8th grade musical and didn't get in. I auditioned for the 9th grade musical and didn't get in. I auditioned for the 10th grade play and didn't get in. I tried transferring to Interlochen, an elite arts boarding school for teens. Didn't get in. Harley's a bad singer, but she's obviously got something. She's a good actor. What you don't find out about her in that Barbara Walters special is that she actually went on to a pretty successful child acting career. She starred in a Nick at Night short, multiple commercials, even a Val Kilmer movie. But me? So, okay, Mama, be honest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I called my mom in Greece to ask, was I talented?
You had talent, but I don't believe you were the star, the big star. You never got a leading role.
Actually, I like often didn't even get in at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really understand why I held on to that dream for
You
so
loved
long.
it, Lena. You loved it. I mean, you loved the musicals. I mean, you were like an encyclopedia. I have a very vivid memory of you going to Borders on your tippy toes, asking the person behind the desk for the musical Annie, Get Your Gun, and you were telling him you won the 1938.
No, it wasn't 38 because in 39 Judy Garland did Wizard of Oz. Okay, so I had different talents. Harley says that when acting stopped being fun, she moved on. She's a teacher now in New Jersey. And of course, I've moved on too. Mostly. Almost entirely. Really. Any day now.
Lena Misitzis, one of the stars of our show. Our program is produced today by Diane Wu. Special thanks today to Michael Margolis, Greg Colello,